Welcome to the orientation video for chemistry majors. Chemistry majors in their first year of attending Clemson. The purpose of this video is to introduce you to some of the things you need to know about being a chemistry major. I'm going to tell you briefly about the department, and then I'm going to point you to some key things that you need to know about the chemistry curriculum. As you go through your academic career at Clemson, you'll learn more about the curriculum, but we'll get you started on some of the initial things of which will be important to you. Then towards the end of the video, we'll talk about topics that are specific to first-year students as they develop a plan for registration. The faculty at the Clemson Chemistry Department consists of approximately 40 professors, and there's a mix of what we call tenure track faculty and then teaching faculty. You will have the opportunity to take courses from both types. We have currently about 130 undergraduate majors spread out over the different course years, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. Additionally, the department has between 80 and 100 graduate students. And there is a significant interaction between graduate students and undergraduate students. In terms of majors, the chemistry department is somewhere between a small and a medium-sized program at Clemson. A large percentage of the students that we teach in the first 2 years will be students that are taking chemistry courses but are in other majors. I'm Dennis Taylor, and I'm going to be handling your advising for orientation. So I will serve as your advisor as we move through your initial registration for classes and get you ready to start the semester. At some point, you will need to schedule an appointment with me through CU Navigate. And then at this appointment, we'll talk about the specifics of your course registration plan. And then I'll also meet with you again as you register for classes. When you arrive to Clemson in the fall, you'll have a different advisor. And that advisor will be Mr. Adam Hunter. He actually is not in the chemistry department. He's part of the College of Science and some of the student services that they offer there. You can schedule an appointment with him using, again, CU Navigate. You will meet with him at least twice next year. We need to make plans for the courses that you will take in the following semester. So we're going to be talking about the courses that you're going to take in the fall semester. You'll meet with Mr. Hunter typically in October to talk about the courses that you will want to take for the spring semester. Then you meet with him again in April as you focus on the fall semester of your sophomore year. He is also available. There are other concerns that you have about Clemson and your academic progress at Clemson. He's very knowledgeable in some of the options that Clemson has to help you as you make your transition through your academic career. When you come back to Clemson for the fall semester of your sophomore year, we'll assign you to a new advisor. This new advisor will be a member of the chemistry program, one of the faculty members of the department, and they will then be your advisor until you graduate. Mr. Hunter focuses a little more on some of the issues that affect first-year students, and your advisor in the chemistry department will help focus you more on what it takes to graduate with a degree in chemistry. For those of you that are thinking about a career in the health profession, you will want to look for a different advisor also. So you would wind up with two advisors. Your advisor to help you with your chemistry degree, and Ms. Williams, who is the advisor who helps prepare you for your career after Clemson. And this would be in terms of thinking, if you're thinking medical school or dental school, PA school or something along those lines. There is information about available about the services that she offers, so I'm not going to talk any more about them. At Clemson, there are actually two different chemistry degrees that can be obtained: the Bachelor of Science degree and the Bachelor of Arts degree. The Bachelor of Science degree is the one that goes deepest into chemistry. And this degree has been approved by the American Chemical Society. And if you're thinking about a career in chemistry or attending graduate school, this is going to be your best option. Now, if you're thinking about medical school or some other professional school following Clemson, the Bachelor of Science degree is a definite possibility. Another possibility would be the Bachelor of Arts degree. The Bachelor of Arts degree is actually broader than the Bachelor of Science degree, and you study at least one topic in addition to chemistry. It doesn't go into as much depth on some of the chemistry as the Bachelor of Science, but as I say, it's broader and can provide a solid foundation if you're looking for a career that's not specifically in chemistry. If you go with the Bachelor of Arts degree, there is a required minor. This is where you broaden out your education. You're going to be taking courses in another area. There's also a foreign language requirement, and you have to have 2 years of a foreign language. Both degrees require a number of courses in the major areas of chemistry. Both degrees start with general chemistry, move to organic, and then there are courses in the areas of analytical chemistry, physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, and biochemistry. In addition, both degrees require 2 physics courses and at least 3 math courses. So the BA requires 3 math courses: Calculus 1, Calculus 2, and Calculus 3. And then the BS requires those 3 math courses plus a 4th course. And there's some flexibility in what you choose for your 4th math course. Bachelor's students pursuing the Bachelor of Science degree are required to do 6 hours of undergraduate research. Well, they work in the research lab of one of our research professors. There are a number of different options, and students will find a lab that one fits their kind of goals. What area of chemistry are you interested in is kind of where you want to start looking for someone to do undergraduate research with. The curriculum map actually shows research beginning in the senior year. We encourage students to start earlier in that. Undergraduate research is not required for the Bachelor of Arts degree, but it is something that we encourage. Right, now we're going to turn our focus to what courses you're going to take for the upcoming semester. This, of course, is going to be affected by your plans, what your career goals are, what you want to do, as well as what credit that you may be transferring in. Curriculum maps for both the BS and the BA degrees are posted in support of this video. I don't have them here, but what I do show is the first semester for each of those degree maps. First semester, really the first year and a half is very similar for the two. There's not much deviation until you get to your sophomore year. So we can treat both right now as being the same. So both, whether you're pursuing a BS or a BA, your first semester, you're going to start with general chemistry, CH1010, and then a lab that goes with that, CH1011. Math course, most students will take Calculus 1 as their first math course. And then there's something we call the technical requirement, which is a science course that's not chemistry, math, or physics. And new, well, I guess it was new last year, is a course that meets South Carolina's REACH requirement. And then there is another course that you're required to take as a first-year student, which is called Clemson Connect, CU 1000. So this gives you as an entering student 15 credit hours in the first semester at Clemson. This is exactly where we need to be in order to have about 125 credit hours at the end of your first, when you graduate. Now let's talk about each of the courses in a little bit more detail. So Clemson Connect is a 0 credit pass, no pass course that's required of all first-year students their first semester at Clemson. It's not really an academic course in that you get a grade for it, but what it does is it introduces you to some of the things that you need to know about being a Clemson student. Much of the course will be conducted online, and what's not done online will be done via workshops and whatnot. We will make sure that this is on your schedule. It's not going to have a meeting time. And the things that you need to do in person, you will schedule through Canvas, and you'll schedule them so that they fit your schedule. So this will be on your schedule, even though it won't affect where your other courses are going to be. So let's talk about chemistry first. So we're assuming, the curriculum map assumes that the first chemistry course that you take will be Chemistry 1010. This is first semester general chemistry. And of course, you would take Chemistry 1020 in the spring. There are approximately 20 sections of Chemistry 1010, and many of those will have enrollments of 100 or greater. We have a specific section set aside for chemistry majors, which will be much smaller in terms of class size. So a little bit better opportunity to get to know your classmates and the professor who's teaching the course. And this is section 50. So I'm going to tell you to sign up for Chemistry 1010, section 50. The course meets 3 times a week on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 10:10 until 11 o'clock. So 3 50-minute lectures each week. Chemistry 1010 has a common exam, and a common exam is where all of the students in the course take an exam, take the same exam at the same time. And our common exam time is Monday nights. So when you schedule Chemistry 1010, you will note that Monday nights are blocked off on your schedule. There's only 3 chemistry exams in the course of the semester, but we're going to block off all Mondays so that we can be sure that you're going to be able to make it to the 3 exams. On Mondays that you don't have an exam scheduled, that's actually free time for you. You're not going to be required to do anything. Accompanying the lecture, the 3-hour lecture, is a lab, Chemistry 1011. Now the grade for Chemistry 1011 becomes part of your grade for Chemistry 1010. We have 2 different lab sections which are dedicated for chemistry majors. So in addition to signing up for Chemistry 1010, section 50, you'll want to sign up for either section 238 or section 438 of Chemistry 1011. One will meet on Tuesdays and the other meets on Thursdays. And these are 3-hour labs. The labs that you're going to see for general chemistry are a little bit different than what you might expect or what you might have experienced with in high school or possibly even in community college type settings. Chemistry 1011 and 1021, Chemistry 1011 and 1021 labs are set up to be project-based. And so a project can last over several weeks, and you're working on problem solving and designing experiments to solve the problem that you've been assigned over those several weeks. Students are going to be working in teams. Typical team is 3 or 4, and this isn't a situation where one person can do all the work and everybody sits back and watches. Every team member has a role and will contribute to the success or the failure of the team. The labs are designed to foster critical thinking skills. This is one of the things that we emphasize in your education is the development and improvement of your critical thinking skills. You'll also work on developing your team skills and of course your communication skills. Chemistry labs can be challenging, but recognize that learning isn't always comfortable. And this will be a situation where you may be uncomfortable, but you will be learning, we hope, new skills and new ways to look at the world. You have credit for chemistry. Here are recommendations. So if you have an AP score of 3 on the chemistry exam, we're going to recommend that you retake chemistry 1010 and 1011. This will ensure that you have a solid background as you move forward. If you have a score of 4 on the AP exam, you can take chemistry 1010 if you want, but the recommendation is to move to chemistry 1020. We do not have a major section of that, but we do have some people that are teaching it that are quite good. So you would take chemistry 1020, and a corresponding lab that goes with that would be chemistry 1021. You have an AP score of 5, then you're ready to step into organic chemistry. This would be chemistry 2230. The lab that goes with that is 2270. We do have a section of 2230 set aside for majors. That would again would be section 50. But we don't have any labs dedicated to majors. So that's the chemistry. You also have to take a math course. And our starting point in the curriculum map, of course, is Calculus 1, Math 1060. There's a prerequisite for this course based on your SAT or your ACT math score. So if you come in, you've got a math SAT above 680 or a ACT math of 29 or greater, and you can start in Math 1060. If you have AP credit for Math 1060, well, then we can talk about which math course you should be in. If you don't meet the math prerequisite, there's several options. Option 1 would be to take Math 1050, Math 1051, which is a pre-calculus 5-credit pass, no pass course. There is also a Math 1040 pre-calculus, which combines some pre-calculus and introductory calculus into a 4-credit hour course. Students that take Math 1040 take Math 1040 in the fall, Math 1070 in the spring, which together equals Math 1060. There is a prerequisite for the Math 1040. There's not a prerequisite for the Math 1050. The technical requirement is a science course that is not chemistry, math, or physics. And we let you, we give you several options to choose from. And this is, you'll want to pick a technical requirement that kind of fits with your interest and your background. What do you want to do with your chemistry degree? A popular choice for the technical requirement is biology, biology 1030, plus the lab, biology 1050. This is a general biology 4-credit hour course. Some students prefer over biology to take a computer science course. And there's 2 introductory computer science courses that you can take. They both have a prerequisite, a math prerequisite based on your SAT score. Computer Science 1010 is targeted towards students that have a background in programming. Computer Science 1060 is for students that don't have a background in computer programming. Many of our students will take Computer Science 1060 plus the Computer Science Lab 1061. Another option for the technical requirement is geology, geology 1010 plus the lab 1030. Any one of these 3 courses will meet your technical requirement, give you a little broader background into science than just chemistry. The last course that we have on your that generalized curriculum for first-year students is REACH requirement course. And the REACH requirement is based on a new law that was passed by the South Carolina State Legislature about a year ago. And students, in order to graduate from a public institution in South Carolina, students are required to take a course in which they read certain founding documents. The options at Clemson are History 1010, Political Science 1010, or Political Science 1030. Any one of these three courses will meet the REACH requirement. If you're coming in with AP credit or dual enrollment credit, you may already meet the requirement. And this should show in DegreeWorks. So if you don't meet the requirement, then you're going to need to take one of these three courses. If you do meet the requirement, then we're going to replace this REACH requirement course. And I'm going to suggest that you take a course that meets one of the general education requirements for Clemson. General education courses are in several different areas. You have to have two courses in the area of arts and humanities. One of these would be a literature course. One would be a non-literature course. You have to have two courses in social science, and they have to be in two different social science areas. For instance, psychology would be one area, sociology would be another. And then also new this year, you have to have 6 credit hours in courses that meet what are called global challenges. This is something you'll learn a little bit more about when you get to Clemson. You may have AP credit that'll satisfy some of your general education requirements. You won't need to take courses in those areas. If you're taking a general education course, you do have the option of selecting a course that's in an area that's of particular interest to you. You want to select the course that's based on your interest, something that you find will help you later in life. Psychology is often recommended for medical school, or something that's maybe of interest to you. So I mentioned the curriculum maps are posted. You'll want to take a look over those. And actually, I don't have a survey, but you'll want to look over the curriculum maps and develop a plan for what you're going to take in the fall. Which chemistry course are you going to take? Which math course do you think you need to take? Which technical requirement do you want to take? And whether or not you're going to need to REACH requirement, or whether you're going to need to take a general education course. You're going to schedule an appointment to meet with me for advising. Schedule that appointment through CU Navigate. And then you can look for a follow-up email from me where we'll set up an appointment via Zoom. So schedule it through Navigate. I will follow up using your Clemson email account, and then we'll go through your plan for the courses that you need to take, and we'll get you ready for registering when it's time to register.